Some children don't grow up unloved, they grow up unseen. In these two movies, we see what happens when mothers are lost in their own struggles and the child quietly carries the emotional weight. This is the story of a single mother and her sons. But more than that, it's a story about how a childhood love never truly leaves the body. The film opened quietly. No dramatic music, no loud argument, just a simple home and a presence of a woman who has carried life on her shoulders alone. A single mom raising her boys in her own imperfect way. Years passes. One of her sons return home as an adult. He does not return with anger. He does not return with accusation. He returns with something far more complicated, unfinished affection. As he steps back into the yard of his childhood, memories begins to blur with the present. And there is the most unexpected place, sits in a simple object, an old bathtub in the yard. It sounds ordinary, but in this story, that bathtub is everything. It's where he once sat as a child while his mother washed him. It's where he first felt warmth, safety, and touch. And it's where the care was physical, intimate, and uncushioned. Now, as an adult, he looks at it differently. That bathtub becomes a doorway, not just to memory, but to the understanding. The film slowly shows us that his return home isn't about the house, it's about trying to define something he never fully understood as a child. What was his mother to him? Was she just a caretaker, or was she the first love he ever knew? Through the quiet scenes and the simple words, he began to describe her, not dramatically, not poetically, but precisely. He speaks of her strength, her tiredness, her presence, her body blending over daily jogs, and the way she exists entirely for her sons. There is no villain here. This is mother's wasn't cruel. She wasn't neglectful. She was simply a woman surviving. And that makes the story so powerful because the son's emotion aren't about the trauma, they about intensity. As a child, this world was small and she was the center of it. Children love without boundaries, without logic, without understanding social rules. For them, the mother is the first universe. And sometimes that universe becomes so deep inside that they carry it long after they grow. And the film carefully explores this idea. We see the adult son almost studying his own feeling, curiosity mixing with gratitude. He isn't ashamed of loving his mother deeply, but he's trying to understand why that love still feels so powerful. And the bathtub becomes symbolic. As a child, it represents care. As an adult, it represents memory. And the memory becomes a physical thing in this film. It's not abstract. It sits there in the yard, unchanged, while he was changed completely. And there is something almost uncomfortable in how intensely he reflects on her. Not a dramatic or inappropriate way, but in a way that reveals how much of his identity was shaped by her presence. The yard, the house, the bathtub, they are all frozen in the time, but he is not. He has grown into a man who now sees his mother not just a mom, but as a woman who struggled, a woman who sacrificed, a woman who was a human. And that realization shifts everything. This story isn't about drama, it's about a emotional imprint. If the first movie was about how the love remembered, this one is about how love misunderstood. Let's break it down. The film Tell Me opens in silence, not a peaceful kind, but a heavy kind that fills a house where people live together yet never truly meet. At the center of the story is a young boy whose name we never learn, and that's a choice liberate. From very first frame, the film tells us something painful. This child is invisible even inside his own home. He lives with his both parents. They are physically present, eating, moving, existing, but emotionally they are elsewhere. The father is distant, shallowed by routine and suppressed frustration. The mother is exhausted, withdrawn, locked inside her own unspoken sorrow. Neither of them is cruel, And that's what makes it worse. Their neglect is quite accidental and almost normal. The boy moves through the house like a ghost. Long static shot shown him standing in a doorway, sitting alone in empty room, watching his parents from a distance. He doesn't interrupt. He doesn't demand attention. He has already learned that his voice doesn't change anything. And there is very little dialogue in the film. Instead, the director lets silence speak. Every pause feels intentional. Every still frame stretches just long enough to make us uncomfortable, forcing us to sit with the boy's loneliness instead of escaping it. And one of the most powerful idea in a film is the way the adult slowly dissolve their emotion into routine. The parents aren't fighting loudly. There is no dramatic breakdown. Their pain has simply settled into habit. And in that process, their child has been left behind. The boy is full of caution about fear, about love, about where anyone sees him at all. But there were no one to ask. This led to the film's most haunting moment, the mirror scene. Standing alone, the boy looks at own reflection and begins to talk. Not loudly, not desperately, just quietly, as if testing whether the words still work. And the mirror becomes his only listener. It's a devastating symbol when a child stops trying to communicate with the adult and turn inward instead. This isn't imagination or play, it's a resignation. The mirror reflects more of than his face. It reflects the failure of the connection in that household. The child doesn't believe leaving people will hear him anymore, so he speaks to himself.